Actually right now at summer graduation, so she could not be with us this evening, but she did pre-record herself so that way she can give you guys her message.
Good evening, senior parents. I'm Bonita Torres, principal of Eastwood High School. I was unable to be here tonight because I'm at a graduation ceremony for our summer graduates, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you some information that I'm speaking to your students about. So I'm gonna first apologize if I mess up. I'm getting recorded, so we may just go on with the show. So a couple of things I'm gonna speak to your kiddos about is the first thing is safety. So there's a new state mandate that that's asking that all people in our building have an ID on at all times. And as I've told your student, or I will tell your student tomorrow, is they're young adults and we should not have to constantly remind them about wearing their ID. We need to make sure that they're taking care of it so we can keep the building safe. And I know that's extremely important to you parents as well. With that, I implore parents to please assist us with that. Please remind your students the importance of wearing their ID and to keep our schools safe. As we all know, 4 years ago today, we endured a big tragedy in El Paso, Texas. And of course, we never want that to happen again. The other thing with safety is we have 72 doors within our school. And I've asked the students to please do not open a door to anyone, even if it's their favorite teacher or their best friend, to please make sure that they're keeping our schools safe. Unfortunately, I don't have control over what every individual child does, but if we keep reinforcing it, it will make sure our school stays safe. The second item that I'm going to speak to them about is academics. So we have numerous students that are part of fine arts and athletics. And within those, they fall under some UIL guidelines for some events. Those UIL guidelines allow the students to play even if they have a 65 in an AP class. When we are talking about campus-based trips though, like if a student goes to a pep rally or if we're gonna go help one of our elementary schools or go play downtown for the public, those events are campus-based and all students must be passing all classes. This is twofold. First, to respect my teachers and all the hard work that they do on a daily basis. And second, the second part of that is our goal at Eastwood High School is to get students graduated. The fine arts and the athletics are the cherry on top for them, but we want to ensure they all graduate. And my last thing is our facility. As you see, we're in a multi-million-dollar facility, and we want to keep it as clean as possible for future generations. Many of you are alumni, and you didn't have the ability to be in this beautiful building, and we want to ensure that it stays this way. I ask the students to please pick up trash, to make sure that they put their trash in the trash can, and I also ask them if they have gum to please put it in their trash cans. We want to help our custodial staff with the cleanup and make sure we shine on forever at Eastwood High School. I thank you all very much. Please contact me if you need anything, and go Troop.
So this is just a quick reference guide. If you do not know who your child's assistant principal is, this is who they are. So each one of us has an alpha. The individual who is new with us, and you probably didn't get a chance to meet last year, Miss Bonilla, she started with us in May. And so she is now in charge of GI through LO. But the rest of us, we have been here since last year. I know we got to meet some of you when we had your child as a junior. So the good thing is, again, we came back this next school year, but again, Ms. Bonilla did join us at the end of last year. This is also an update here. We have two new counselors. We have Ms. Gavito, who's actually with us this evening. She left us for a little bit. Your child might have had her for professional communications. We stole her back. So she is in charge of GI through LOZ. And then, of course, Ms. Bailey, who is also new to our campus. She's not with us this evening. She was with us yesterday. But again, this is a good reference guide for you to know who is your child's counselor. We also have some really important people here with us on campus that you can look to for resources. We have CIS, Mrs. Montoya, Gold Center, Mr. Hernandez, and of course our two campus nurses. We do have a new nurse on campus, which is Nurse Piedra. She is new to our campus as well. But Mr. Hernandez and actually Mr. Arredondo are very important to the senior class because this is a class that got chosen by Gear Up 4 years ago. So Mr. Arredondo has been tracking your students for the last 4 years, and through Gear Up, they've been able to provide additional resources and additional help for your child. Mr. Hernandez is very important because he's going to help your child when you're asking questions about scholarships, FAFSA, and also college applications. He's going to be the gentleman that your child's going to go to whenever any of those things come up. So we do want to show you this video. This is actually from our superintendent. This is actually what we showed our faculty and staff, and it's a really short video, but it talks about the good things and the amazing things that are going to happen here in YISD.
I first became familiar with Ysleta ISD during my tenure as superintendent in a neighboring school district. Historically, I knew it was a sound school district with a rich and successful history of serving East El Paso students. But I also remember an aging urban school district marred by declining enrollment, old, outdated, underutilized schools, underscored by a series of failed school bond elections. In short, the district was in danger of joining hundreds of urban school districts across the country who lose students and families to new and exciting schools in growing suburbs. They were circling the proverbial drain. Almost a decade later, I joined the Ysleta Independent School District, and not a day goes by that someone doesn't comment on the transformation, the rebirth, and the renaissance of the district. Never in the 100-year history of our district has the community rallied so fiercely around its schools, teachers, and students. During this historic period, the district went from 64 schools serving 42,000 students to 50 schools serving 36,000 students. Closing and consolidating underutilized campuses, coupled with 2 successful bond elections, securing almost $1 billion, has yielded an unprecedented reinvention of our district. By the end of 2023, all high school stadiums, baseball fields, and softball fields will boast premium-grade artificial surfaces. The rebuilt Eastwood and Bel Air High School campuses are modern marvels. There are 4 new middle schools, 7 new elementary schools, the Bel Air Sports Complex, the Career Center at Riverside High School, and refrigerated air at every campus, just to name a few. The truth is, we improved every school in the district in some significant way. Security vestibules, technology upgrades, and new furniture and equipment. This year marks the culmination of nearly $1 billion in new construction, modernization, and general improvements. What makes this accomplishment so extraordinary, so remarkable, is that it happened during one of the most difficult periods in our history, including the mass shooting at Walmart and the global coronavirus pandemic. Academically, after a decade of outperforming the state and region, we find ourselves being the only TEA A-rated school district in El Paso with the highest percentage of students in the region designated as college and career ready. In fact, 27 of our 52 schools received A ratings. We also earned the title of the best school district in the El Paso area, according to 2023 Best School District rankings by NEACH for the 2nd consecutive year. In addition, we've been named the top 10 district in Texas for our work with emerging bilingual students. True to our claim, the District of Champions has enjoyed unprecedented success, boasting a dozen UIL 5A championships over the past decade. So as we approach the 2024 school year, let's pause, take stock of the remarkable journey, and let's celebrate this major milestone, this historic chapter in our district. Most importantly, let's acknowledge that we're now positioned to focus myopically on academic achievement and growth for all students. No more major construction projects, climate-controlled schools and classrooms are safe, secure, and enhanced with technologies that leverage learning, and unparalleled athletic facilities to support our athletes. It's all in place. We have all the tools, the resources, and we certainly have the people. A Approximately 2,500 teachers, 1,000 aides will serve, support, mentor, and guide 36,000 students in the classroom and in the arenas of competition. Our students' future, their quality of life, depends almost entirely on the experience we provide. We've successfully concluded one chapter, and now it's time to forge our future.
So this is a mission for Eastwood. If you did not know that this actually existed, this is something that has been in place for a couple of years now. And so this is something that we kind of live by every day here at Eastwood. And it just pretty much says that we want the best education possible for your child. And again, we want them to become engaged citizens when they graduate here from Eastwood. So again, we're trying to prepare your child to be active community members, but also be successful in their lives. So our goal this year is 95% in attendance. As I told you guys last year, I told you Eastwood was going to be number 1 in attendance. Well, guess what? We were number 1 in attendance. So again, that is pretty much a credit to your children. Okay, your junior class was number 1 in attendance every time we had an attendance challenge every 9 weeks. So I hope the same as they become seniors, that they are still going to be that number 1 class. And so our goal has been pretty much set forth by the district. We want to hit 95%. Last year we did not hit that goal, but we again still maintain being number 1 all year. So some of the things I just want to remind you of is loss of credit. You might have your child who right now is behind on credits, passed your class, but then they didn't get the credit because of loss of credit. That's due to excessive absences, but again, they should have made up those hours in the summer. If they did not have that opportunity to do so for whatever reason, they will receive a contract here next week. They will be called out and they will need to do those hours. Okay, so again, that could lead to retention and possibly not graduating. The other thing is, if your child misses school, like for example, ditching, deciding not to attend class, that could lead to truancy court. Now, they're at the age, if I were to take them to court, the judge could mandate a GED. At that point, your child would be removed from Eastwood High School, and they could no longer continue here. So again, be very careful, make sure your child is keeping an eye on their attendance. That's why the hack is very important. And then also, we want our students here every day because that's the only way they're going to be able to get the information they need so they are successful in their classes. This is just a reminder that the district does allow parents 72 hours to turn in notes or make a phone call when your child is out. Now, this is actually a district understanding because if there's an emergency, there are things out of our control. We don't expect you to call right at that moment. Your mind is not thinking clearly, you're trying to take care of whatever the situation is, but once you kind of collect yourself, you realize, okay, oh my gosh, I had my child with me, I did not call the school. The district gives you 72 hours so that way you can give us a phone call, let us know. You can even send us an email that's more convenient to you. And then that way you can let us know, like, hey, I'm so sorry, my child was out on Monday, we had an emergency, please excuse the absence. We'll go in and excuse that absence for you, okay? After 72 hours, we pretty much do not accept the phone call or the handwritten note or the email. Again, that is in your student and parent handbook. But it's very important, again, we understand emergencies happen, we understand that things are out of our control, but just make sure that you're in communication with us in attendance, and we will gladly look into it for you. The other thing is that we do give you notice if your child is out. This is our responsibility as a school in the district. We do send you phone messages in an email or a phone call. We also encourage you to check the HAC, right, the Parent Information Center, where you can check your students' attendance to make sure, like, hey, is he really going to class? You can check their grades on there. And of course, you're always welcome to call attendance if you have a question about your student's absence. Okay, so again, we do give you enough notice. So like before we send you to truancy court, we do all these things prior to that. For example, we intervene, we get the counselor involved. So there's various things that we do before we get to that court. But again, we just want to make sure that you know that we do have a responsibility as well to inform you all. The other thing is we do have party suites again this school year. I know we were very famous last year on Flip Fan because, kids were running down the hallway. But what we've been telling your students is they have more than enough time. I play the music at the beginning of the first bell to inform them you have 5 minutes to get to class. There's no need for them to run. Okay? I do it with a sufficient amount of time. I'm not one of those people that wait 30 seconds before that tardy bell and I'm playing the music. I play it at the beginning to give them enough time to realize and for them to think, oh, okay, there's going to be a tardy sweep, I probably need to rush to get to class. Okay? If they choose to ignore that, unfortunately, it's immediate discipline. They get lunch detention that day, or they get lunch detention the following day. So, something that is not in our Google slides that I just want to let you all know is that the junior class heard it. The seniors who are here right now are going to hear it for the first time, but they're going to hear it tomorrow again. I got approval from Ms. Solis that if we are number 1 in attendance every month, which of course we are going to be, I will extend their lunch to 45 minutes the following week for 1 day. Now, if we continue, that's right, if we are successful at our 95%, I will keep you informed, we could extend lunch a couple more days. But we have to meet that 95%. So, I'm doing my part, right? And I know your students will do their part. But again, we're trying to make things a little bit easier. But again, I did get that approval because it is an incentive. And because it's an incentive, we are allowed to do that. Okay, so again, for those seniors who are here right now, if you're hearing that for the first time, don't say anything because it's going to be a surprise for the seniors tomorrow. Alright, I do have 2 wonderful counselors here. I know you saw Ms. Galindo. We also have Ms. Cataldi here. And they're going to present to you guys about our comprehensive care center and some more information.
Thank you. Good evening. Okay, we want to talk to you real quick about some resources that are available to our students and our families. Starting with the Comprehensive Care Center. If you weren't already aware, Isleta does have a Comprehensive Care Center. It's located over by Riverside High School, but you can make an appointment and they do all of these items over here for you. So a lot of times when you need help with physical or for diagnosis and treatment of any kind of injuries, or this listed here, it's a great resource. And they don't charge a whole lot. They also have licensed professional counselors and they added a psychiatrist this year. So if you're like me, I have a student graduating, you guys have a student graduating, I'm one that's leaving college, I need a lot of mental health right now to deal with that. So I may be contacting them myself, okay? And the only thing is, it is by appointment only, so you can't just show up and be seen. But we're here to help you and assist you if you need help in getting that appointment as well. The other resource that we want to make sure you're aware of is a new entity that we started working with last year called Care Solace. And this is another opportunity if you are having trouble locating a therapist or a mental health specialist. If sometimes it's really difficult to know how to find that kind of health care, but luckily one good thing that came out of COVID is now that they do a lot of virtual appointments, so it becomes a little bit easier and you try to be seen from your comfort of your home, be virtual. But we'll help set that up. All you need to tell us is, I need help. We will reach out to this agency called Care Solace, and then they take over from that point, and they do the rest of the legwork for you, finding you a therapist or a mental health provider. Okay? And then Ms. Galindo is going to talk to you about SEL and why it's important.
So SEL stands for Social Emotional Learning, and it is a district initiative starting at the elementary school level. So you may be familiar with it, and our teachers have lessons on Nearpod, and they present to our students every Monday. And we focus on SEL. There's 5 core competencies. There's a really cute mnemonic device if you use your hands to remember what social emotional learning is. So it starts at the core with your middle finger, and that's self-awareness. And then if we go to our pointer finger, it's self-management, and then thumbs up is social awareness. And then the 2 R's are your ring finger, which is relationship skills. And then lastly, it's responsible decision making. So again, social emotional learning, it's cute, it's fun, but it is really important so that we can prevent having to go to Care Solace. So hopefully our lessons are helping our students so that it starts in the classroom and then it extends to the school culture, families, and then in the family household, and then eventually our community. Thank you.
Okay, Okay, up next I have Mr. Ornelas, but I do want to play a quick video. This video actually has been played, and it will be played, I believe, at the games. I know this was sent to all of you, but if you didn't have a chance to see it, again, this talks about your actions matter, and this again comes from our superintendent.
Thanking our parents and the community for your continued support of our district and our schools. Your advocacy and partnership are largely responsible for all of our success and achievements, including the earning of an A rating from the Texas Education Agency. Notwithstanding, there is one disturbing trend that's becoming more and more prevalent at our schools: aggressive behavior toward teachers, coaches, and administrators by parents. I'm not talking about simple differences of opinion. What has been reported, what we've had to delicately manage, includes profanity and threats directed at school personnel, destruction of school property, and in some cases, physical altercations. Oftentimes, this conduct occurs in the presence of students. These incidents adversely impact the culture and climate of our schools. As superintendent of schools, I have a responsibility to ensure that all staff and students are afforded a safe and secure environment absent of hostility. We're better than this. Let's work collaboratively, parents and educators, to solve problems. Actions matter, so let's partner and work together to set the example for the next generation of leaders, our children. Good morning. Let me begin.
Good afternoon, parents. I'm going to talk to you. It's a really quick summary of your actions matter. One of the things I want to tell you is that at the beginning of the week and ending off right before this meeting is putting up signage. What we want to do is we want to remind you every time you come to our doors, when you push that visitor button, when you are welcomed into our vestibule, when we are going to ask you for information on your ID so that we can scan. There are signs that remind us of these three things: words matter, actions matter, and you matter. These are just reminders every time you come to campus. I know we are passionate, I know we are in a rush, I know we need to get business done, and there is someone on the other side, so we just want to have this signage up, we want to have these symbols up, very much like we do in airports, to remind us that the actions every day, they do matter. The next thing is safety expectations. So I just mentioned about going up to our doors, going up to the pad, pressing visitor. One of the first things they're going to ask you is if you have an ID. That is our first check. We want to make sure that you have an ID because technically we do not allow anyone without an ID to come inside the building. So at that point, if you have business on campus, you're going to come into the building, you must have an ID. This is our way of politely telling you, please go back to your car or go back home to conduct business on our campus, even if it's just to ask for your child, to sign your child out to go home, if it's to drop off an attendance note, or for whatever reason to visit our counselors or one of us APs, we ask that you have your ID on at all times. So step one is pressing the visitor button, showing your ID. Step two is a vestibule. I think it might be in a few slides, but I want to talk to you about our vestibule because that's the newest thing that we have here on campus for safety. Our vestibule, we just finished the procedures today, means that you will have your ID scanned. We need to make sure to scan every person that comes onto our campus because we are, believe it or not, running the license and the ID against an offender's database. If there is some type of message that comes up that the person that is trying to come into our campus is on the database, they will call for me, they will call for one of our security officers, usually Sergeant Armendales, and we'll go to meet you. We'll try to make sure that if we have business on campus that we can get through all of the legalities. But that is the second step. Once we accomplish that second step in our vestibule, you can go ahead and come into the campus and continue conducting your business, and we will give you a visitor's pass. The visitor's pass is important because just like our students that are required to have an ID at all times once they are on our campus, so goes for our visitors as well. We need to make sure that you present yourself, you have your ID, we checked you on the database, and you have a pass, a visitor's pass, to continue your business on our campus. Our IDs are our first thing that we do. The second thing that we do is we want to make sure that we train our muscle memory. So we have, at one point, we have one drill per month. That drill could include a lockdown. A lockdown we're required to have two, one every semester. We have fire drills that continually go throughout the school year at different times of the year. And we also have, what we have is severe weather, and we have a hazmat drill. And those are always secured in place inside the building. If at any time you come into the building, you will not know if we are in a drill or not, but we will have signage in the front letting you know that we are conducting an emergency operation. Again, we don't say drill, we don't say live, we say emergency operation, and we ask you to wait in your car. We will go through all the drills. One thing to know, I don't know if it's up there or not, it'll be there in a bit, is we also use our phones. We have an application that we use, it's called Catapult EMS. This is a way for us to be in contact with your teachers. One of the new things that we have this school year is any type of electronic device that the district has, just like Mr. Mota's laptop, just like the fancy devices we call IDBs in the classrooms that the teachers are using, the electronic devices, the big boards. They will also have Catapult EMS, and if there is a drill, all students, all teachers will know from their pocket on their cell phones and the drill that we're going campus-wide. So it's really important to know that we prepare, we mitigate, and we plan for all these emergency operations to keep your children safe. This is something that came to light. This is going to be the first of two issues we talk about what the state legislature has asked for every school in Texas to do. One of these is armed defenders. The state has asked for each school district to provide for at least one armed defender at the campus. Depending on the size of the school, depending on the community, sometimes it is peace officers. In the case of Isleta ISD, with our many schools, our security officers are in training to become armed defenders. So the plan is to have a number of armed defenders at every campus. Again, the minimum is one. At our campus, we're looking at 3 to 5, depending on the amount of officers that we have available, our hiring, and our training schedule. So just to let you know that this is something, armed defenders, this is not something that the school district is looking at. It's actually compliance with the state legislature to have at least one armed defender on every campus. The silent panic alert is what I talked about. Generic, the name is up there, the silent panic alert, but that is the Catapult EMS system that I just talked to you guys about. Yes, and I mentioned that there were two things that the state has brought forth to us. I want to talk about safety being first, and I want to talk about one main entrance on McCray. That is the other big change that is happening to our schools across Texas because of the ADA legislature. That's under House Bill 3. What that is saying is that we are, even though we're a school, just like Ms. Doris mentioned, has 72 doors throughout. It was built in a manner to welcome the community from the outside in. However, from this point forward, it cannot be that way. We know because of our day and age, we need to secure our campus, we need to make sure that everybody on campus has their ID, so we have one main entrance point. That one main entrance point is going to be here on McCray, where we will have security officers and we will have our administrators welcoming your children coming in, making sure they have their ID. And of course, that is one grand opportunity for us to make sure everybody has their ID, everybody's in dress code, everybody's prepared to be here at school. So that's what we're doing. I want to thank you guys for being so flexible. This is something that we didn't have a chance to roll out. We didn't have a chance to tell you guys about ahead of time. This is something that we had to prepare for on day one. Day one was hectic. McCray was packed, and it was backed all the way down, almost close to Wedgwood. But it seems like the traffic patterns have cleared themselves up. You all know that there's that one main entrance, and traffic has improved day to day. So I want to thank you ahead of time for your parents, for your flexibility, for allowing us to abide by our state legislature and our codes, and to keep your kids safe.
Good evening, this is Juania, and I'm a new assistant principal. I serve students and parents with last names G-I through L-O. Before I start my part of the presentation, I do want to point out I do see some seniors in here tonight, and they are wearing their IDs. So thank you very much, students, for having your IDs on this evening. So here, this is the district calendar. It's going to have all of the dates for upcoming testing, holidays, intercessions, days when we don't have a school, or maybe when we have a half a day schedule. You can find this on the Eastwood High School website. So speaking of the next coming break, we have coming in October. It is called the October Intercession and Fall Break. It's a 2-week session in October. The first week is called an intercession because it necessarily is not a week off if you're a student who has lost credit due to your absences, or if you're a student that has not passed the STAR test. If your child is identified of losing credit or not passing the STAR, they will be invited to attend the first week in October for some remediation to prepare them for the test in December, and so that they can recover their credits. The second week is the fall break, so that is the week where you can take and plan your vacation. The same goes for March. In March, we have 2 weeks. The first week is the spring intercession. Again, we're preparing students for the upcoming spring STAR exams. So if your child is invited to attend, it is important that they do attend so that they can get the remediation that they need, or so they can recover credits, so they can earn credits this year. The second week is spring break, and that is a week off holiday. It's important that we abide by the dress code. So dress code is a policy per campus, and it's also in the district handbook as well. The dress code for students in high school, we know that they are allowed to wear their clothes. They don't have to wear a uniform like middle school students. But we also do have a dress code. The students, you seniors here, you are Eastwood High School students. You are considered El Paso's finest, so we do have to represent our school and follow the dress code. So these are some items that are not allowed here on campus at Eastwood High School. The first item there are the torn jeans. So the students can wear jeans, and sometimes I know the style and the trends are the holes in the jeans, but we ask that the holes are not more than 2 inches above the knee. So if you get your ID card and you put it, this is about 2 inches, you put that above your knee. If you have any holes up here that are more than 2 inches above the knee, we are going to politely ask your student to either put on some leggings underneath the jeans or to change their pants. They can call their parents, or they can carry some extra pants in their backpack. But parents, please help us with this in the morning. When you say goodbye to your student, make sure that they are in dress code. Also, the sagging jeans, it's seen more with the young men. The jeans have to be at the waist with a belt. If you're going to wear baggy jeans, make sure you're wearing a belt. We don't want any sagging pants so that undergarments are showing, or they're not up at the waist. Stocking hats or beanie caps are not allowed inside the building. So please, if your child is wearing a stocking cap or a beanie, make sure that they are aware that they cannot wear it inside the building. We will dress code them for that if we see them walking around inside the building with a beanie hat. So for the girls, tops, we do not allow the spaghetti strap. So the spaghetti strap is a very thin strap. We do not allow those at all. A lot of times the students will wear zippy hoodies or sweatshirts on top, but then at the end of the day, when it's hot, 100 degrees outside, they're taking off their sweaters and their hoodies, and they're wearing the spaghetti straps. Those are not allowed. The same for young men. They can't have the tank top, the really thin tank top, or the tank top that's cut and torn. Those are not allowed for young men either. Short shorts, that we've dress coded some students for short shorts. I know it's very warm, hot weather right now, and students are wearing shorts. Everybody's wearing shorts, but we need to be cognizant of the length of the shorts. We don't want any short shorts, Daisy Dukes, nothing like that. They have to be at least to the knee or 2 inches above the knee if they want to wear shorts. If they don't have shorts that are no shorter than 2 inches, then just please encourage your student to wear jeans that day. The students are also not allowed to wear any kind of see-through glasses where you can see the undergarments. We don't want students to wear the crop tops where you can see the belly button. So that's been the biggest dress code violation so far. We understand that's the trend, that's la moda. Everybody's wearing the crop tops. You see them everywhere at all of the stores, but we do not allow those here at Eastwood High School. And we will have to dress code your child if they're wearing the shirts that's exposing their back, the front, their stomach, or if they have the tube tops where there is no top at all around. We do not allow those, not even with the zipper hoodies. As we said, at the end of the day, those hoodies come off. Also for the t-shirts, we do not allow any t-shirts that have inappropriate graphics on them. There's a very well-known brand called the Cookies brand, and they advertise t-shirts that have inappropriate pictures of marijuana plants or any kind of alcohol. We can't have anything inappropriate like that on the shirts. Any foul language, none of that is allowed. Your child will be dress coded. And finally, the sandals. I know again, the weather permits. Everybody wants to wear sandals right now because it's hot. As long as they have a back strap, I'm wearing the sandals here, they have to have a strap on the back. We don't want any kind of flip-flops or slides because it is a safety concern. We do have 3 floors here at Eastwood High School, and the stairwells get busy and tight, so it can cause an accident if somebody accidentally steps on the back of your slides or your sandal and you go falling, and then you bring down other students with you. Okay, thank you, Mr. Zubiak, and we'll continue.
Good evening, parents. I'm Mr. Zubiake. I'm the assistant principal that oversees the Alpha SAM through Z. Real quick, I want to show you our bell schedule. It did have to be adjusted on Sunday night, the day before we came back to school, so one was mailed. That one's incorrect. If you'd like to take a picture of this one, we really had to adjust our activity schedule for this week. Okay, and some of the things we're going to talk about here at Eastwood is we have 3 goals. Our first goal is our future. These are our campus goals. We're going to work towards an A accountability rating. Although Eastwood is an amazing school, it is a 6A school, we do not compete with schools in the El Paso area. The way the state breaks up the schools is identical demographics, and our demographics, we compete against schools around Dallas. So we are in a B-rated school right now. Okay, so our goal is to become an A-rated school. We provide appropriate materials, supplies, and technology. All the wonderful supplies that you all receive for your students when you register. We provide Chromebooks, and we also provide other technology pieces to our faculty and staff. We provide intervention assistance and parent communication. We're working on increasing the parent communication via the phone calls, and all the phone calls we receive come from Mr. Monta himself right here, the voice of Eastwood. Goal 2, our people, increase parental engagement. To have meetings such as this. We also have meetings called CEIC, which parents are encouraged to come. We do talk a lot of budget, and it's not very interesting, but you're welcome to attend. Provide professional development to faculty and staff. So typically when teachers return, they come in, They get a day to work in the classroom, and then all the other days are all professional development, and it's delivered by the administrators. And we just deliver whatever the school vision is for the entire week. And our goal 3 is our investment. We want to maintain facilities conducive to learning. This beautiful facility that we have that we're super spoiled here at Eastwood as far as students, faculty members, parents. This is the place to be. It is a wonderful, wonderful facility, and we want to keep it that way for many generations moving forward. We also are invested in our safety plan, as Mr. Ornelas discussed. The safety of our students is number one. Bad things are happening in schools. We apologize for any inconveniences that have taken place as far as the one main entrance, things like that, the IDs that we have to check every day. But people do have bad intentions and people do bad things. And when legislation went over the month of June, this was some of the remedies that they came up with, that maybe we can kind of deflect things if we only have the one main entrance and we can kind of keep people out off campus that aren't supposed to be here. And then we evaluate our programs. What's working? What isn't working? We always have room to improve. Nothing is set in stone. We don't just say, oh, this worked, great, and then we'll work again. Just like a championship team doesn't say, we won the championship, we don't have to do anything for next year. That's incorrect. You always have to work for growth. You work forward, and you try to improve all your programs, and we try to improve all of our programs. These are the requirements that your students have completed or were about to complete in the last 4 years that we've been here at Eastwood. So to graduate, they will have to have 26 credits, okay? They're seniors, so they're pretty much there. They just have to finish these next 2 semesters. They have to complete an endorsement. They know their endorsement by now. When we spoke to the freshman parents, the way an endorsement works, let's say you're interested in nursing, you take nursing classes for 2 years, then you say, no, I don't want to do that anymore, I want to get into law enforcement. Well, they just kind of use 2 years taking the wrong courses, so now they got to start all over and cram 4 years of education into 2. So we tell the kiddos freshman year, you got to know what you want to do, kind of decide, so that you don't have to change your endorsement or your pathway. You have to pass all your EOCs. There's 5 EOCs that students have to take to graduate. 3 happen freshman year, biology, English 1, algebra 1. Some students have algebra in 8th graders, in 8th grade as well. Then sophomore year, you take English 2. Junior year, you take U.S. history. And senior year, you're set. You're all done, okay? You complete a FAFSA application. Whether students want to go to college or not, it's required that they complete the FAFSA application. Just in case they change their mind moving forward, maybe in December after they graduate, they say, you know what, I took a semester off and I do want to go to school. Well, the application is complete. They will also complete a college application. It could be to any college that they want to attend, and if they're not sure, we can do it to UBCC, we can do it to UTEP, just as long as one is submitted. They will take and pass the TSI. Now, the TSI test is the big push for seniors. What the TSI is it's a test that the students will take that allows them to place higher when they take college courses. So think of it as a placement test. When they enter college, they have to take a placement test, and that placement test puts them in the courses that they need. Well, here at Eastwood, we offer that exact same test to your children multiple times, as many times as they want to take it, free of charge. And once they pass the math, they get a 950 in the math and the reading, they do not have to take any remedial math or reading courses when they enter college. If they don't pass that TSI, then you all will have to pay for those remedial courses and also pay for the TSI test when they get to college. Okay, so we encourage them to take it as many times. We have students taking it in the summer. We have students coming in and want to just do better and better. They'll have to do 80 hours of community service. And actually, for your kiddos, it's 60 hours because this is the last class that was affected by COVID. COVID, they didn't have to do community service hours because there was no place to do community service. So they'll need a total of 60 hours at the end of this year. And I would say by spring semester, it should be done. By Christmas, it should be done and we won't have to worry about it. They also will get, if they haven't already, a CPR training course, which is, they won't receive a certificate, but they will know how to keep someone alive in an emergency until EMS is able to respond and arrive. So they can do that. And then the last one is a real important one, is the peace officer training. They would have already received it through their social studies class. What the peace officer training is a training that teaches students, teenagers, how to interact with law enforcement. At a traffic stop, if they're approached somewhere in public, and not to mouth off to police officers, or for no reason take out running, or try to cause a confrontation.
situation, and as you see in the news, things happen with law enforcement, and you can't get a life back. So the best thing we can do is train them and teach them how to interact with law enforcement. And I'm a Sumota. That's the best parts.
Okay, so I know we had you here, so we thought, well, might as well just do the Title I presentation while we're at it. I'm going to try to get through this in 2 minutes or less. So first thing is, how is Title I, how can you be involved? So first thing is, Title I funds help our school, so the technology, school supplies, free reduced lunch. Our campus qualified because we are at least 40%, where we have students who are considered below or called socioeconomically disadvantaged. The requirements of Title I is to inform parents. That's what we're doing now. To explain the requirements of our program, and of course, explain the rights to our parents that are involved. The other thing is, again, you should have done one or two things. Either you did the lunch application, because you're like, yes, my son or daughter does qualify for free or reduced lunch, or you're like, sir, we made too much money, so we had to complete the SIF application. We have those, and we're about to start entering those. That's how we get our Title I funds. So even though you may not qualify for free or reduced lunch, we still get money. So the other thing is, again, it is a school-wide program, so all our programs benefit from Title I funds. Again, it's to, for example, upgrade the entire educational program, raise academic achievements, so again, to get to that A rating, and of course, meet the state's performance targets. And again, we met it because of the 40%. We collect the data, we kind of look at the plan, is this working, is this not working, and we make adjustments throughout the year. The other thing is also we have a written parental involvement policy. That's actually what I'm going to show you right now in a little bit. And again, this is created, it's called the SIP, and it's called where we get with parents, we kind of talk again about the budget, what our needs are as a campus. This is our planning team. Don't have to take a picture of that, it is on our school website. I know it's kind of hard to see. All the administration is on there, plus Ms. Solis. So our goals again is to improve support for subpopulations in all using tested areas, improve our meets and masters. We're almost there. The only subject to have actually met the target for the state in meets and masters was U.S. history, which again was your junior class, right? Your class right now is going to graduate. And of course, successful implementation of our AP strategies. And again, we want to maintain our designations. Our goal is to receive all 7 designations. We don't know what designations we received yet, but we should hopefully get those here in the next couple of weeks. And of course, we will share with all of you, of course. So this is the requirements. Again, this is a parental involvement policy that we have put in place. Again, it is on our school website. If you go to the Eastwood School website, if you look for this School Parent Compact, it is a great read if you're ever bored on a weekend. Look it over, just talk about our relationships with parents and how we help support our school. Alright, and again, this is important, the right to know, the confidential student record. So again, we don't share your student records with anybody except for you, and of course school personnel that we need to have access to it for any reason. And again, we don't mail those results, that's why there's a portal that you go into, and if you want to see your students' records. Okay, how can you be involved? And again, we do ask that if you have an opportunity, for example, you want to come volunteer at school, maybe you're retired, or you have some time on your hands, we ask you to come sign up here at Eastwood. We'll give you that contact information. We also ask you to attend parent nights. Thank you for being here. You are attending a parent night, right? Also monitor your child's grade on the HAP system, and of course, making sure that you're in communication with administration and teachers. Right? You also have the right to request meetings, right? Maybe there's something going on in your child's class, maybe you want to get a little bit more information, you don't understand why your child's failing the teacher's classroom, you have that right to request that meeting. Of course, sometimes an administrator is present, but again, you also have the right to request a meeting with an administrator, and of course, we will meet with you in regards to whatever your concern is. Okay? If you want to scan that QR code, if you have a child that is interested in being GT, or you have a child that is already GT, okay? If you scan the QR code, it will take you to a website with some information. It is actually ran by our librarian, Mrs. Truesdale. And again, she will gladly update you, share the information. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to scan that. Looks like the majority got it. And there you go, I got it done in less than 2 minutes. You're welcome. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for being with us this evening. If you want to speak to any one of us, the administrators, we will be staying behind. You're welcome to come ask us any questions. That's what we're here for. And again, thank you. Drive safely. We hope to see all your children tomorrow. Seniors, do not share my secret. Thank you.